So, hello and welcome to Blueprints Behind Business Interview Series. I'm your host, Brad Douglas, and today we are joined by Terry Zelen with Zelen Communications. Terry, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you. Thank you. Um, Tell you just a little bit about myself. I've been in the advertising and marketing industry since the mid to early 80s. And so that puts me as a veteran in the industry, I suppose. And I've gone out and come back to it because it's something I really enjoy. And by trade, I was originally a designer, and now I'm the creative director here at Zelen Communications. And our firm really kind of specializes in online marketing. And we have four silos or industries that we like to focus within, but we've done work in probably any industry you can imagine. So we really kind of focus on medical, restaurant, real estate, and also do work in the education industry. And we really specialize in custom websites and then online marketing, the various different channels there. And we've always been kind of on the cutting edge. So we have adopted AI here in the last 2 years. So we really kind of moved into that realm.
Fantastic. So you said you've been in it for a while, but what was maybe the initial spark that made you want to go down that entrepreneurial journey and start your own business?
Well, I was working for a small agency originally, and I was released. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just try and go it alone here and see what I can do. And I hadn't made a lot of connections in the industry. So a printer that I had done work with gave me free office space in the back. And if I would type for him and his printer, he would give me a free office space. It didn't last very long because I just didn't have the connections really to make it. So I went into another shop, and then I went to a few more. And my last one, I worked on primarily Continental Airlines. And I just didn't enjoy the corporate world. I didn't like a big agency, and I really kind of wanted to go out on my own. So I decided to leave. Originally, I left to make furniture. So I was designing, building furniture and welding. And then I had 3 agencies in town that just kept calling me to give me work. And I thought, well, I could sit here in weld in a hot studio, or I could sit in front of my computer at the house and work. So I went that route, and been that way ever since.
That's great. It's a familiar story.
Yeah.
I hear it a few different times, but I'm sure you probably enjoy a little bit more of the air conditioning instead of sitting in those environments. So
It's
great.
true.
I appreciate that background.
Yeah.
So, as you got started, were there any kind of things that you've learned over time or any kind of misconceptions that you learned about running a business?
Yeah. One, that it's easy, and 2, that you can make your own hours, and that you don't have a boss, because you always have to answer to somebody no matter what you do, really. So you're always answering to the clients. And when you first start out, you're wearing a lot of hats. So you have to be nimble and be able to change from accounting to um, reaching out to clients and do sales, and then account service. So there's a lot of different hats you wear, but it's also very good to kind of learn about everything in the agency business. So I freelanced for a lot of agencies before I really started acquiring my own clientele. So I had the opportunity to see how a lot of other agencies were run. So that was very good for me to see how different agencies interacted with their clients, and that was really helpful to me.
Great insight. So, as you got your business going and were acquiring your own clients, really standing it up for yourself, was there anything there's one specific piece of advice that you might have wished you'd have had early on?
That's one specific bit of advice. I think it's always just to be as straight up with the client as possible, because people are people. They're always understanding if you're honest with them, because we all make mistakes in our careers and on projects. And as long as you fess up, most people are usually pretty genuine and will understand the problem. And to not hide the issue is probably, it's much better to face it and directly interact with your clients, because they're much more forgiving if you're straight up and honest with them.
Great advice. So, thinking about especially in your industry and many industries, obviously the innovation is crazy. How do you stay adaptable and open to change as it's constantly evolving?
Back at my last agency, the Macintosh computer was relatively new then. Yes, I'm old. But I knew at the time that the computer was the way the industry was going to go. So there were only 3 shops in Tampa that had them. I managed to get into one, and I taught myself how to use the Mac computer because I knew it was going to be really the way to go. And we ended up landing a big account out of California. It was a company that made accelerator cards for the Macintosh computer. No one in the agency had any idea what the product was. So I ended up becoming the account service person and the art director on the account. And so I always kind of have a bent towards technology. I've always really enjoyed that aspect of it. So, in the market here, we were one of the first agencies to get on the bandwagon with developing websites before all of the content management systems were around. And we were custom coding in HTML and slicing pages into 100 pieces to make them load on a dial-up modem. And then we've always been a group that's curious and ever learning. And that's really, I think, what keeps us fresh and relevant in the marketplace. I tasked my team with always looking for what's next in the industry. And, there's a lot of whiz-bang tools that come out. Not a lot of them are great. But we test and see what's really going to help our clients and move the needle from a marketing perspective. So those are the types of things that we're always, kind of on the forefront of. We were early, adopting and how to develop apps for our clients. And then with the advent of AI, really about 2 years ago is when it started to become a little bit more commonplace. We jumped in immediately. And so we have been testing products and using the products now quite extensively, and I'm very excited about it. And that's one of the things that I like is that new technology and new possibilities for marketing and how to reach out to the consumer in different platforms in different ways. So I think that's really what keeps us fresh and relevant in the industry.
Wonderful. So if anyone else was thinking about taking this entrepreneurial journey as you did, what advice would you give one of those aspiring entrepreneurs?
It's odd. My father always wanted to have his own business, and my mother would never let him do it. She was just afraid of what might be. When I first left, my wife was employed, and she was at a company in the industry, in the advertising marketing industry. And one day she just came home and said, I quit. I couldn't do it anymore. She was in sales. And I had my plan to go do the furniture, and I was probably about 2 or 3 months out from doing that. And we didn't have any kids at the time, and we were in our 30s, and I just said, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to do it. What do we got to lose? And we didn't own a house at the time. I think it's the best thing you can do, but it's not for everybody. It takes a lot of hours. You're going to work on the weekend because otherwise Monday's a bear, and you want to be prepared for the week. And but I do think there's a freedom there, and I guess I kind of have like a hunter-gatherer gene in me because I've always been kind of be able to go out and hunt and kill and bring home clients. And we've been very fortunate along the way. We had our biggest client probably to record is Outback Steakhouse. We had them for 10-year run. And that was not in the really early days, but it was there were only 3 of us at the agency. And at one point we took over the entire account except for the television and radio. So we were busy. But a lot of fun. And then we've done startups. We're doing a small fishing lure company right now. I think it's an exciting place because you are in control of your own destiny. And it's really up to, your true grit because there's always going to be bad times. And those are much more memorable than the good ones, unfortunately. So it's just knowing that you'll get through it, the bad times, and just push until you do. But I wouldn't work for anybody else. I just couldn't. You probably wouldn't have me either.
Well, that's fantastic advice. It can be tough, but the journey is worth it. And Terry, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure everyone's going to enjoy the insights that you brought to us. And to everyone watching, please look forward to the next episode, and we'll see you soon.